Hello, everyone, in another episode of Pop to Culture. I'm here with my friends Chad and Alex. You say hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. We're back.
Hello, everybody.
We're here to talk about more pop culture things because that's what we do at Pop
That's
to
what
Culture.
we do. Okay, recently, Nippon Yasan has been sending out messages to their customers that they have a new management. Here's the message that they wrote. Dear customer, we have a change of management following too much mismanagement of the company during COVID-19. We apologize, but we do not have Super Dimension Fortress Macross DX Chogoken Movie VF1 Strike Super Part Set Limited Edition. We really tried to have it, but it was impossible. We refunded you by sending a store credit inside your account. We are truly sorry for this inconvenience. Best regards, NipponYasan.com. So, first of all, the COVID thing is total bullshit. This happened. The pre-order for the Super Strike parts was in June 2019, and it was supposed to be released in December 2019. And a lot of people bought the Super Strike parts with the VF1S Hikaru, which was pre-ordered at the same time in June 2019. But it was supposed to be released in November 2019. But a lot of people chose to have it shipped together. So it was supposed to ship out December 2019, and COVID didn't hit until, the lockdowns didn't hit until late February.
Yeah, like March,
so
April.
COVID had nothing to do with them not being able to get and ship out the Super Strike parts and the VF1S along with it. So that's already a lie as far as Nippon Yasan. My issue with it is that they didn't refund the money to people. They oversold all this stuff. Specifically the Super Strike parts, and they gave back store credit, which made you kind of forced to buy from them, And that's fine if they didn't do even more kind of shitty stuff. They shipped some stuff to some people, but my friend didn't get his. He requested the VF1S to be shipped, and then they wouldn't let him use the store credit to ship that package. They made him pay on top of it. And on top of that, after paying more money to Nippon Yasan, they never shipped it. So it's been a year and a half since it's been 2 years since the pre-order and a year and a half since the release. And now they sent out this letter. And of course, I don't think anyone has received their stuff yet. Maybe a few people have, but as far as I know, none of my friends have received their orders just yet. And he's going to get the 2 VF1S, but no Strike. And I know he tried to order the GBP, but that was like a mess also, the armored VF1. So my question is, first of all, would you trust Nippon Yasan with orders, with any upcoming pre-orders? It doesn't have to be Macross. It could be anything that's that they sell. And if not, what would it take for them to gain your trust back? Celia, let's start with you.
My answer is no.
Just straight out no?
Just straight out no. I already did an order from Nippon Yasan anyways because they charge a premium on top of the pre-order price. Like, I know I've mentioned Ami a couple times in a previous video, but they offer like a 10 to 20% discount off of the RSP, which is very, very enticing and why they usually sell out first. But Nippon Yasan's premium on top of the retail price is kind of steep. And to me, that's not worth paying, like $50 to $100 over the suggested price just because I want something. I would rather wait until someone decides to sell it to a secondhand store like Mandarake or Surugaya and try to get it that way. I also think that it's really crappy that they're treating their customers this way from what I've been reading in some anecdotals, that even though you get store credit, you can only use it for up to a year. So there's a time limit on that store credit. And the people who have actually gotten refunds only got it because they filed complaints with their credit card or with PayPal. And that's the only way they got it back. So I think it's shitty that they're giving you store credit instead of outright refunding. And that they have limitations on that store credit as well. I don't know if other items that aren't Macross or limited release Macross items are an issue for Nippon Yasan, because I don't know very many people that use them for those types of things. Most of the anecdotal evidence for Nippon Yasan that I've seen is around the limited release stuff, like Chigokins or the Super and Strike sets. But yeah, they need to stop doing that. You know, it'd be one thing if they said, you know, we can't give you a refund, but we can give you store credit and there's no expiration date on it. And you can apply it to any of your orders, you know, without these restrictions. I think that would be fair, especially because they strike me as a smaller company, which is probably why they had a hard time getting these sets and probably thought they could without realizing that it was going to be extremely difficult to get them anyways, even though, you know, you could pre-order them through P Bandai for I think it was for the Strike sets, wasn't it? Or was it the Super?
I'm not sure anymore, but
I don't remember. But it's just one of those things that made me think that they did that thinking, oh, it'll be super easy to get, you know, we'll be able to get as many as we need and it'll be just fine. But the reality is that's not the case. Because even though they're saying, you know, oh, COVID did this, Japan didn't go into lockdown for COVID until the first week of April, 2020.
Wow. Even worse.
You know, so they've had time to get this sorted out. And it's especially bad that they really tried to kind of sweep it under the rug and think that customers were just going to forget about it and let it go. Because that's kind of what it seems like to me, is that whoever is managing the sales was just waiting for people not to notice. And, you know, because that happens, you know, you pre-order something and the months go by and you're like, when was that supposed to be here? I think that was supposed to come out this month, right? You know, and because people lose track of time. So that I think is especially bad. So I think if they release the limitations on the store credit, that would help garner more favor towards them. And if they actually fulfilled orders, you know, you got to actually sell the product that you're selling. You can't be scamming people.
Yep. Chad, what would it take?
Just to be like completely transparent, I'm sort of a newbie towards a lot of the collecting, like the collecting game and whatnot, because I got into it late and also didn't ever buy all that much, and I haven't bought anything in like several years now. So it's like Nippon Yasan always came across to me as abusive. When I first got into this, like, I don't know, like what it was 7-8 years ago or something like that now. And I mean, it was just, it's not that I didn't buy figures before that. I mean, folks know that I owned like certain Yamato figures and, you know, the odd Arcadia as well, but I never really got into it basically until like the Bandai stuff started really to get going. And I got super interested in High Metal R, the DX lines, all that sort of thing. And just, yeah, it started getting a bunch of that stuff, including other things like Robot Spirits figures and other stuff, metal builds and a bunch of other things. Because it's just the quality of them and everything was just amazing. And they always, Nippon Yasan was always a problem. I was amazed that they had lasted this long with all of the problems that they had come. But then I think I sort of kind of realized that I think both Nippon Yasan and getting into this toy collecting market, we sort of you sort of come to a realization that there's a lot of people out there who are desperate to get these figures, and I think a lot of people take advantage of that. There's a lot of emotion that goes into buying these collectible toys, especially anime toys from Japan and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of us who, like, you know, we really care deeply about this stuff, and we let that get the better of us. And I think a company like Nippon Yasan, whoever's been running it and whatnot, they know this, and they've seen how they can get away with a lot that companies in almost any other industry or any other, niche market and stuff like that, you couldn't get away with it at all. You wouldn't survive. Your company would go out of business with these practices. But Nippon Yasan knows their consumers. They know they're desperate. They know they're passionate, and they know that they can force them to put up with a lot of shit, and they will. And I think I think this is a situation where buyers and stuff like that, no matter how much you want some of this stuff, you really gotta, take a look at your own how you vote with your dollars, and really say, a hard no to some of this stuff. And I know that's hard to do, but I think in this case it is. And from these new announcements and stuff, I don't see any indication, given everything that's been said here and whatnot. Yeah, this is all like I said, it is all falsehoods. It's new management, and it's still terrible. They're still right fresh out of the gate. They're telling a bunch of lies about what actually went down, and they're not taking responsibility for that in any way. The store credit thing is another thing that, I don't know, I don't see a lot of stores, and haven't seen a lot of stores for a very, very long time, that give refunds in store credit. That's just not a thing that happens in retail that I'm used to anyway. And I haven't been for a lot of years. And I can't believe that there's a company out there that's actually getting away with it, especially a poorly managed company that has a reputation for just messing things up and not giving people what they pay for. So it's a lost cause at this point, in my opinion. I can't imagine what would happen in order to get me back. It would have to be a complete a complete acknowledgement of what happened in the past. Coming no saving face stuff anymore. Don't try to save face. Come out, admit what you did, or what others did. Start to fulfill orders. Start to give full refunds as opposed to store credit. Start to treat your customers, with dignity and respect, and then you'd have people like me turn around.
Yeah, same for me. I wouldn't order from them at all cost as of now. The one thing I would say is no store credits until you get your reputation back. To me, I wasn't even aware of it. Like this, we put up our post because of the Super Strike deal. But I didn't know that something had happened with the BF31A. Which one was
with
that
the
one again?
Kairos too?
The Kairos, yeah.
Wow.
That there was a huge deal, and it was almost the same thing. Did you know about that, Chad?
Yes.
Well,
I didn't
was it
realize
exactly
that
the same
with the
thing?
Kairos also. It's crazy.
It was a little bit of a different situation, apparently, because there was some manufacturer miscommunication. However, that shouldn't have affected Nippon Yasan in the degree that it did, specifically the customers as well who ordered it and stuff. And it was just across the board, it was terrible. So it was like a whole collapse thing. It was like another thing similar to this, where there was a manufacturer side problem, but there was also Nippon Yasan fucking things up like they usually do, even with stuff that they could get, and also overestimating what they could get again. Like, this has been an ongoing problem with them, thinking that they can, saying that, oh, we can get stuff. And I'm sorry, but at this point, I say at this point, even years ago and stuff like that, it just seems like a scam. It feels like the company is running a scam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're going to get
totally
as many.
Is.
We're going to promise that we can get all this stuff, either knowing that we can't because it's rare and stuff like that. But Nippon Yasan doesn't care. They just want the pre-orders, and the reason that they're only giving store credit is because that's part of the scam. They're getting you to pre-order items they know they can't get themselves. They know
that's
they can't stock. And they're not letting you get a refund when they can't fulfill their order, their customer orders, which means they keep the money, which is a scam. That is a scam, and there's too much. There's too much to answer for at this point. That company, oh my God. What is even the, like, that's the other thing too. I'd be curious to know, like, what the options are for, like, for foreigners buying from Nippon Yasan as far as like legal things. Like, why hasn't a case been brought against them at this point?
I think that's the problem. That's one of the problems. That it's an overseas.
There's an overseas
seller.
thing, and there's just like there's
And,
not any legal means.
Yeah, and apparently even before the Kairos, there was another. There was more the pre-orders that was handled, exactly the same. I'm not sure which forum it was. Somebody contacted me that it's been happening at this. They've complained about it too. I think it was like Robot Japan. Is that a forum also? I think I was in that like a long time ago.
I have no idea.
I mean, I was in something like that. Like it was all super robots, and they did the same thing. So I think when we put up our post and he had that big circle with a slash on it with Nippon Yasan's logo, like that one was that one, like, it went viral, and there was a lot of people messaging that thank God there was finally somebody speaking out against Nippon Yasan. But then I went to these other forums and they did have posts just like that and warning everyone about Nippon Yasan. So this is not a COVID related thing. It's been happening for a long time.
It's been going on for a long time. Yeah.
But it's like I said, I wouldn't order from them, but for them to get their good graces back, I would start first with getting rid of the store credit policy until they get their reputation back. But also, it shouldn't apply to everything. It should only apply to certain things, like maybe a problem with shipping. No, because that's how they got in trouble in the first place.
Yeah.
But
I was just
I don't
about
know.
to say, wait a minute.
I mean, I have dealt with store credit before, but the places that I go to, they give me a choice between getting a refund and getting store credit. It's never been like, sorry, you're only going to get store credit, and on top of it, you can only use it for another year. It's like totally unfair, especially because of COVID, and the whole USPS EMS thing happening at the same, all at the same time.
Right. The way I see it, and this is kind of the vibe I've gotten from Nippon Yasan for a long time, is that it's a small company with maybe a handful of people. It may have even started as one guy who is running a storefront, trying to export toys out to people, who got too ambitious and really thought that, they could meet the amount of
they were
orders,
big,
and that this kind of, that they could, get access to items. And really, I think it's just an example of hubris, that they thought they could get access to items in a greater quantity than was actually available, and made some really poor business decisions because of that. And that really sucks. Because there's a new site that's popped up called Nin that some people are using. Aren't they a branch of Nippon Yasan?
Or owned by them? Hearing about it, but that's a possibility. And there's a lot of people that are suspecting other news sites. Even the one that I use now, Hobby Genki, because I don't know if it's a French owner or is it Italian. I'm not even sure, but they have something like that in common. And they were telling me, like, Hobby Genki is just another arm of Nippon Yasan. But I've been dealing with Hobby Genki lately, and they've been super responsive and fair. So if that's how they're gonna handle it, by creating a new company that handles everything fairly, then maybe I'm fine with it, But maybe if I do find out that it's Nippon Yasan behind the scenes, maybe I'll, it'll keep me from buying from them again. I don't know. I'll find out when I get there if it ever happens like that,
Yeah, it sucks, especially because we're dealing with stuff that has such a limited window of availability before you start dealing with markups. But, really that's where you got to be a smart buyer and look at, you got to look at reviews from other people, look at the anecdotes about these stores before trusting them with your money. Because it's not like it's just like, a $30 price figure that this is happening to. These are collectibles of $200 or more.
Or more.
You know, so you got to be really smart about where you're getting that. Do you guys have a list of stores that you like to get stuff from that you can recommend over Nippon Yasan?
Ami Ami. If you could get it from Ami Ami, get it from Ami Ami. Yeah. I mean, HLJ is a nice place to get it, but man, that site, the site itself, the website, not the company, is just so crappy. It's just like I haven't been able to get anything from HLJ for a long time. So I would recommend them if you could get it from them. But Ami Ami is number one. As of now, I go with Hobby Genki. They're on Instagram, and they answer really fast. I don't know if they are involved with Nippon Yasan. That could just be a rumor. So I don't know if you're taking your chance. I've gotten my stuff from them, so I'm pretty happy so far. And then now you have Big Bad Toy Store. Hopefully they'll start getting more stuff that that we could never get before. How about you, Chad?
Well, like I said earlier, I haven't purchased a figure in like almost 2 years now. But when I was purchasing stuff, I avoided Nippon Yasan like the plague.
Yeah.
Ami Ami has always been good. I've also ordered from HLJ, although I don't do pre-order items from HLJ because, again, I agree with both of you here. Their website is terrible and just doesn't seem to function at all during the pre-order rushes. It just collapses. So they're not good for that particular buying, but everything else seems to be still good. I use CD Japan quite a bit.
CD Japan,
for different things, and they are excellent. They have always been excellent. I've been buying from CD Japan for like 15 years or something like that, and they are still good. They were good back then. They're good now. I definitely push people towards that one. I did order a few things here and there from other places.
Our favorite
if you're looking
store.
If you're doing like used stuff, I got a lot of stuff from Mandarake.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which was amazing.
Mandarake.
They actually allowed me to collect a bunch of things like high metal R's several years after the ones that I wanted were like out of production. And the prices I was able to get those things at was killer. I got a GPP like VF1J Armored Valkyrie for like something ridiculous. It was like half the going rate that it was on Yahoo Japan auctions, on eBay in North America. Like all those places were at least double what I paid for this figure from Mandarake. And the only thing bad about it is like part of the front of the box is a little damaged. And I'm like, that is a small price to pay to get a collectible figure at half the going market rate several years after it's been discontinued. That is awesome. I keep telling people that to this day. If you want to if you're one of these people that's having problems getting like pre-orders and you just can't do it, it's not working out for you, it's been several years and you still don't have a DX and you just want a DX, that's all. Like, is that too much to ask? Start doing Mandarake.
Yeah.
I
got my Super Strikes from Mandarake. I
start
still need more.
Start prioritizing that and start thinking about like what you
don't
start thinking about what's important to you, the figure or the box, and like get rid of some of these old sort of things about like some of these figures, because if you want it that bad, there are options out there that are really great. Just be careful, make sure you know what you're getting into. Mandarake is honest with all their products. They have to tell you the condition of it in every certain in every circumstance, so you know what you're getting into. But make sure you do the Google Translate and read everything over several times if it takes a little bit. But persistence and your priorities and stuff like that, get all that in order. And Mandarake is an excellent solution that I can't recommend enough. It sure saved me like $1,000, maybe as much as $1,000 collectively with all of the things that I got. It might have saved me that much money. I got the VF1S Strike from the High Metal R line, also really cheap from Mandarake. It was great. I never would have bought as many figures as I did if it wasn't for Mandarake, because I got them for cheap. They were in excellent condition, and I still have them to this day, and they are awesome. I did buy something once from Jungle of Japan, but they sort of shut down for a while, and now, from what I understand, they're back. That is a weird situation. I'm not really sure what happened there, but they were gone for like their website was turned off for almost a year. I did buy something successfully from them, and it was very good. They were also very professional. Their prices were also better than most. And I was looking forward to getting more stuff through them, and then they shut down. And now they seem to be back, and I don't know what that situation is. And of course, because I haven't purchased anything in a while, I don't know how they are at this point. That's about all I can think of off the top of my head.
You, Celia, where do you go?
Mandarake. I love Mandarake.
Yeah, Mandarake is awesome.
I'm a firm believer in buying secondhand for collectibles. When I go to Japan, I buy things secondhand at stores, like in the Radio Kaikon building, going to Jungle, going to Liberty, Mandarake, the complex in Akihabara. Like those are all secondhand stores. So, and you're always going to find something in really, really nice condition, just because people who buy those collectibles take really good care of them. And even after fees and stuff, it's still less expensive than trying to buy it brand new or trying to buy it from eBay. Like I really find that people price gouge on eBay a lot. Like there was a Do You Remember Love poster? No, it was a VFX poster that I was looking at that has Minmay, Misa, and Hikaru on it, in their outfits from Do You Remember Love? I found it on Mercari, where someone had listed it for $250 for this poster, right? Same guy. I actually found his eBay because I was cross-referencing it with eBay. Posted it on eBay for $400.
Jeez.
That poster on Japanese Mercari, do you know how much that was?
How much?
$30 after conversion. $30 on Japanese Mercari for the same poster in nicer condition. Like it didn't have any creasing or like dog ear or whatever. So I'm a firm believer in secondhand stuff. I like Mandarake. I like Surugaya. Surugaya, you will have to use a proxy for because they only sell, make transactions domestically in Japan. But you can use a company like From Japan or Tenso, and you can access stuff super easy. I've bought things from Surugaya several times. I haven't bought from Jungle online. I've only ever bought from them in person. But if you're in the US, the Jungle store in Los Angeles does have a website where you can order stuff from. So if you're kind of worried about trying to order something from the Japanese store or worried about going through a proxy for that, you can always look at the Jungle Los Angeles website as well. So there are options, and it's all about whether or not you're willing to be patient and wait for some of these things. Like it's really tempting to try to grab some of these items right when they come out because you want them right away. But if you wait long enough, not only can you find them later in still pretty decent condition, but sometimes you can find them at a pretty significant discount than when it first came out. So
yeah.
Secondhand all the way. It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, Mandarake, like most places, was selling the BF31A Kairos, and it went up at crazy prices, and they were no exception. However, it seemed I was watching Mandarake for several years after the Kairos came out to see if you could get a deal, and they actually went quite low at one point. I believe they went either $400 or below for a Kairos, which is the lowest amazing. I've seen it since it was released. And I don't know if it's gone back up since or whatnot, but didn't we see somebody selling a Kairos here recently or something like that on the board, like $700 or something like that?
Yeah,
that which sounds like that is way more than what you would pay for if you went through Mandarake.
Yeah,
if you could find it.
If you can find it, yes. Yeah. But I still get email notifications from Mandarake every once in a while about a Kairos that's come up for availability. So there's still figures coming in and out of there and stuff. That's the other thing too. Like one of the ways I was able to get so many deals on Mandarake at the time was by being persistent. Going on there like several times a week, sometimes every day a week, and spending a little bit of time searching and whatnot. And like, yeah, I mean, I know it sounds like ridiculous and it's
No,
a
we've all
pain in
done
the
that.
ass,
That's the funny part.
but it actually, the persistence paid off. I got a deal on that armored GBP VF1J from the High Metal R line because it was something that popped up on the day in a search, actually in a not in a direct search, but actually as a product recommended search from one of my other searches. And I snagged it right then and there. And I was like, this is crazy. This is a ridiculous price. I read the description, read the, what kind of condition it was in. And it was like, it was a no brainer. It was just like, do it right then and there. And it was one of the best purchases, still one of the best purchases I ever made in my entire collecting life. So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
All right.
I laugh because I window shop on Mandarake all the time.
I try not to.
It's a bad habit. I go and I'll look for stuff, especially because like, ADHD brain goes, here's your hyper focus of the week. So you're going to go look at, like, for example, I bought like 7 Gridman books off of Mandarake, 7 Gridman doujinshi from this one particular animator that worked on the show because his illustrations are really nice. But I went on Mandarake every day for like 3 days, just adding things to my cart and just being like, oh, I'll get this later. Add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. So my cart is always full when I log in. And it's more, that's how I kind of treat it like a favorites list.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, if I still really want this when I come back to Mandarake in like a week, then I should get it. But if when I come back in a week, I go, yeah, I don't really want that, then it can, or if it's already sold, because that's the other thing about Mandarake is stuff does move fast depending on what series. So like the Gridman books were, they sat in my cart for like a week before I bought them and no one got them because Gridman isn't particularly like popular outside of Japan. It's a tokusatsu based series. So, there's not going to be a lot of demand for that. But a lot of Frontier items that I put in my cart, like for Macross Frontier, will disappear within a couple days if I don't buy it. So you do kind of have to gauge, based on how popular something is and like the demand for certain items when you're looking for it, whether or not you should impulse buy it and get it right away, or if you can kind of sit on it and stew and think about what you want. So, but yes, Mandarake, we love you. Please sponsor us.
let me do my last bit on Mandarake and then I'll close it out. Right. But I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite when it comes to Mandarake. I don't window shop because it's too dangerous for me. Especially like the stuff that I buy is like $300. Like I don't want to spend that much. Like, looking at something like that for once. Like even once a month is just way too much. What I do is I just I create notifications on my email, and then if it pops up in Mandarake, and then it shows up on my email, and then I click on it. Most of the time, those things are gone. So you gotta have like your notifications on notification if you really want that stuff. But yeah, I'm not gonna go to Mandarake. I'm not gonna window shop. It's just too much. But it's an awesome
dangerous.
Place. It is. So it's one dangerous. Of those. It's actually one of those stores where you do get that like kid in a candy store sort of feeling because you get introduced to it. When you get introduced to it for the first time, you can't believe the availability of stuff they have at this store. There's like almost everything you could ever hope to want is there at Mandarake, and it's like, where have you been my entire life? Sort of thing, right? And it's
like that when you go in person too, Chad.
Yeah,
it's magical.
I can imagine. It's magical. It's just like, oh my god, this is like, all the stuff that's been so hard to get a hold of for years. It's all here.
That's how,
sort of thing.
Frankincense was in the early 2000s. It was just, there was so much Macross stuff, and you first walk in there and you're like, it's like a winter wonderland of Macross toys. You're just like, and bells are ringing in your ear, and you're just like, it's awesome.
And suddenly you feel a hole burning in your heart. It's been like, I have this and this and this and this. And this too.
I think I actually met people buying Macross stuff, and they're holding like 2 bags, and I'm like, oh, so you're into Macross. And then we're still friends like that. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know where you recommend for everybody else to shop. Maybe don't recommend Mandarake so much, but like leave it in the comments or go to Macross Fan Central. And where do you guys shop to get all your goodies? All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week, hopefully, and we'll think of more stuff to talk about.
All right, and that's it for us. Thank you for watching our videos. Once again, please make sure that you comment on our videos if you'd like to share more about what we've talked about today, whether you agree or disagree. We'd love to hear it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos, and lets us know more about what kind of content you want to see in the future. Chad, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Macross Mecha Manual, my website, or you can find me on the Facebook and Twitter pages for the Macross Mecha Manual, and you can also email me at marchingcw@hotmail.com, and I will see you there, I guess.
Cool. Alex, where can people find you?